I rise like the sun sometimes, but then I fall. Like a black moon I rise when the night calls. When the night falls, the mic calls. So listen, it's the ultraviolet rays that keep me rising on the mission. I rise like the sun sometimes, but then I fall. Like a black moon I rise when the night calls. When the night falls, the mic calls. So listen, it's the ultraviolet rays that keep me rising on the mission.
Come on, guys. Now I know what you're thinking. What on earth is going on with this title? Of course not. LeBron James is not washed. But I want to get on here and talk to you guys about what I've been seeing. Now, we all know LeBron James has been a man in the NBA for quite a while now. It's been years. I don't even want to say how many. 10 years, more than 10 years, since 09, even before 09. Four-time MVP. It's easy to say LeBron James has been dominating the league for the most part. Three-time champion, been to the finals 8 straight times, 9 overall, carried pretty bad offensively Cleveland team in 07 and got swept by the Spurs. But we know LeBron James for carrying teams. Like last year, that Cleveland team was not good enough to make it to the finals. He carried them in the Indiana series and they won by the skin of their teeth. They beat Toronto because they have a mental edge over Toronto. And then they played the Celtics and they beat them by the skin of their teeth. LeBron carry job. That's what we've come to know LeBron for, man. And it's been very entertaining. I know a lot of people like myself and a lot of people who subscribe to me, consider LeBron like the favorite player. He's literally, if not better, at least on par with Michael Jordan. In my lifetime, I grew up watching Michael Jordan. In my lifetime, I certainly never thought anybody could ever be better at basketball. And then on top of that, I didn't even think anybody could be as good, just because there was such a big disparity in the 90s between Michael Jordan and the next best player. It was ridiculous. Now to see LeBron kind of get to that level where up until this season, it was ridiculous to really talk about somebody else being on the same level or being better than LeBron. LeBron was just that much better than everybody else. But now we starting to see a change in that paradigm. We're starting to see it shift because I don't know. You go over to the Eastern Conference and you look at Antetokounmpo, Giannis, okay. You see what he's doing with a team that was built properly around him, much in the same way that the Cavaliers should have been built around LeBron. You have a point guard who can defend, who can shoot threes, who can pass, who can take the ball to the basket. You have a shooting guard, Malcolm Brogdon, who's shooting 40, 50, 90. He can take you off the dribble. He can even be your playmaker. He can shoot, he can defend. You got Chris Middleton, he can defend, he can shoot, he can be a playmaker. You have all these players around Giannis who can do multiple things, who it's hard to game plan against because they have guys who are so versatile. Unlike when you compare it to Cleveland, you had LeBron, you had Kyrie, and then you had a bunch of kind of spot up shooters who couldn't defend a chair. It's tough, man. It is tough. But anyway, that's not what this video is about. I'm looking at LeBron. I'm watching him play against the Atlanta Hawks. All these, keep in mind, this is before the All-Star break. This is when it's coming down to the wire. Hey, the Lakers have to get in position to make the playoffs. You have to get in position to make the playoffs. After it became a thing, okay, this is it, the last stretch. Are you a playoff team or not? As soon as that became the conversation around the Lakers, what happened? The floor dropped out beneath this team. I mean, all of a sudden, they went from, battling to having complete letdowns. That Atlanta loss was bad. It was a terrible, terrible loss. That was a very winnable game, and they blew it. This is right after they had a huge win in Boston. It's like they can beat the good teams, and then they lose against the bad teams. Then they come to the Pelicans. It's like a gimme game. Everybody's like, okay, Anthony Davis isn't even playing. Let's go give the Pelicans this work real quick. What happened? They lose to the Pelicans. Then they go to a couple days later, they go to the Grizzlies last night. This is another gimme game. The Grizzlies are terrible. Yeah, they got players. They got Mike Conley or whatever. They're going to give it their all, but they're a terrible team. They don't even have their young stud anymore. Terrible, terrible team. What happens? They lose. They lose these must-win games if they're trying to get a playoff seed. After every game, LeBron's talking. There's embarrassing video going all over the internet. Whether he was dropping back in the zone or not, I don't know. But embarrassing videos to just show him looking at a man right in front of him And then when the dude hits a wide open three, he like looking at his teammates and it just looks bad. And then you watch LeBron play. Now, granted, there's a couple things that could be going on that I hope are going on. Number one, he looks like he's a little bit hesitant to get down in the stands or to change directions and stuff. All that stuff could be because of the groin. Maybe the groin isn't fully healed, or at least he doesn't feel great about it yet. That takes time, typically, a time that the Lakers don't have. That looks like that looks like a part of the situation. It also looks like he just is not in condition. He's just not conditioned for basketball yet. He did look like he dropped some weight, but he still looks tired on the court most of the time. It just looks like he has poor condition. It looks like how he looks at the very beginning of seasons since he's been, kind of getting older. Like at the beginning of last season, he looked really, really bulky and he looked really tired. At the beginning of this season, it was the same thing. As the season progressed and then we got closer to Christmas, we started to see him look more like LeBron, and he lost weight and started looking more like LeBron that we're used to seeing. Then he hurt his groin and missed like 20 games or whatever, and now we're in this mess. So it's just very, very interesting to see. Like I said, I'm hoping this is an injury / conditioning situation going on with LeBron, and I'm hoping we're not done with the LeBron that we saw in the playoffs last year. This is what I'm hoping. I personally think it's conditioning mostly, and then it's residual groin. That's what I think I'm seeing from him. And I also think he's being used wrong, because you have Rondo on the team. I don't really understand why you're trying to go to LeBron at point guard so much. Now, I know he can do it, and I know he's an outstanding passer, and he's technically good from the point guard position, but I've always said I don't like LeBron playing full-time point. I really don't. Like, on different occasions or every third possession or whatever the case, cool, but I don't like to see him play point guard the whole game. He doesn't seem to engage the game like he needs to when he's that worried about running plays and all that stuff. So I never really love to see it. Sometimes it looks better than others, but I just don't think at this point in the season, when they need to get wins and they need him, to drop points on the board, more points on the board, I just don't like the idea of him playing point guard now. So we'll see. When Lonzo Ball comes out, there is hope for the Lakers. When Lonzo Ball comes back, that will be a big help to the Lakers as well, especially on the defensive side of the basketball, because he's heading off that defense. There's also something to watch before March 1st if DeAndre Jordan gets bought out and if the Lakers can get him to come. And that's going to be a task in itself, because you're going to have to convince a guy who could really be very helpful for a contender. You're going to have to convince him to come to a 9th or a 10th seed, or they might even be 11th seed now, and try to, help them make a push. Now, he will play a lot. So, and then there's the opportunity, I think he lives in LA, and there's the opportunity that he may re-sign next year, even if it's like at a discounted rate. But you still have to convince him to not go to a contender, who I'm sure there'll be plenty of contenders who want to have like a legit rim protector on their team. And you have to convince him to forego those options and come to the Lakers. And I kind of doubt that, because with all the other free agents, nobody else wants to come to the Lakers. They've had the spot open for a while. So we'll see, man. But yeah, to answer the question that this video posed, I don't think LeBron is washed yet, but I'm worried. I'm very worried. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Is LeBron over? Is LeBron washed up? Leave it down below. All right, see you next time.